GM, this is your Solana ecosystem in-depth news. Starting with crypto Undeads. Now this minted out very, very successfully yesterday. This had plenty of hype, and at the moment the floor price is around 13 Sol. Now I completely messed up on this, and so I just want to teach you something very, very quickly, and that is essentially I had pre-sale tokens, or I had like pre-sale opportunity. I bought some of these. However, I bought them on Subba and I didn't realize, but my transaction actually failed. And I didn't use this wallet, I used a different one. But my issue was having basically too many tokens in the wallet. And then I didn't double check to make sure the transaction had gone through. So as an example, let's say a pre-sale's 5 Sol, you might want to have an address that has just over 5 Sol, like 5.2 Sol. So we might call it like whitelisting or something like that. This one shouldn't have this token in it. Nevertheless, it does. So let's pretend that this one doesn't exist. So I'll just kind of hide it off for the time being. This is a scam token, I imagine. So we'll hide this one off, hide this one away as well. If I'm going to be using this wallet, I would fund it from another wallet. And all it's going to have in here is either Sol or USDC or whatever the pre-sale token's going to be. And then I would go and do the pre-sale. The pre-sale was done via Subba, and then I would make sure that the transaction went through. So in this case, I'd want to see that my 5.1 Sol then went down to 5.08 or whatever I was expecting. And then I can also have a look at the transactions here, click on it, open it. So I could just go, all right, view on SolScan and double check that it's gone through. These things here, if you don't check them, then you could miss out on thousands of dollars. Like me, which was exceptionally hard to take because I was so excited and then I missed out because I was silly. It's also very important that you do this because Solana is growing and growing and growing, but the actual transactions that Solana can take, it's not that high. It's also important that you do this because Solana's growing, but the actual true transactions per second, it's about 450 or thereabouts. So this is including voting transactions. But if it's just true, if this starts to get up too high, then all of a sudden, a lot of your transactions will fail. It doesn't really matter. It's not like you're going to lose $30 like you can on ETH just by failed gas. But you do need to double check. Even if it simulates a transaction in Phantom. So as an example, we'll just do it here, just so you can see what's going to happen. If I go and take my Sol and I do swap, it's going to pop up the Phantom wallet. And we're going to see this nice little simulation here, which I saw on Subba. But then after I confirmed, it failed and I didn't realize that. So even if this pops up, it may not fail. One thing that is very important to know is you can always increase the gas as well. So add your transaction priority to make sure it goes through. You can't do this with every single dApp. As an example, you can't do it with Subba. But more and more dApps will allow you to do it. And this is just an important thing so your transaction does go through. Next up, how you can do a successful token launch. So there's a lot of things that go into this. It's a very, very easy thread. And if you are going to be creating a meme coin or just a random token or something better, then use this one here. There's so many things that need to go into it. Like as an example, let's go to a wallet that has pretty much everything. So what you want to have is you want to have a good logo, of course, a recognizable name. You want to have the price data feed, which takes some doing with CoinGecko, Phantom, and Solana. And in addition to that, if you can, you want to have a decent liquidity pool that can't be botted. So have a read of this if you're going to be doing any meme coins, because I know a lot of people want to do this. They think it's easy money, and maybe it is. But if you do a bad launch, such as QuadCoin, which I may as well unfollow now because it's just silly. I have a feeling that they had their insiders bought this and then they just dumped on everyone else. This was terrible. I'm not sure if it was people not doing the right thing in the team, but either way, if the launch was good, if the launch was smooth, if it kind of resisted a bot attack, if it had a good logo and everything else, then that's going to, of course, have a lot more success. Kamino Points are coming soon TM. I do not have a referral link, but hopefully I've got one soon. Definitely, I love Kamino, so use this if you're not already doing so. I've got some videos on it. Monthly active addresses on Solana have an impressive surge. I don't really know what this really means, to be honest, because you can send an NFT spam NFT very, very cheaply to an address. And I don't know if that necessarily means that it's active because it's received something. So, as bullish as I am on Solana, we've got a lot of room to grow. BNB would be kind of similar. Tron, no one actually uses Tron really that I'm aware of. So this is an inflated number. Like, there's no way that there's 14 million people using the Solana ecosystem every month. Like, I have multiple addresses. Many people have multiple addresses. But as this climbs and climbs and climbs, this is good. So onboard your friends into Solana. Remember, I've got beginner course completely covering all the things you can do. Fundstrat has a price target of $500 to $600 for Sol this year. I have no idea if this year is going to be the top. I imagine 2025 would be, but that's just speculation, not financial advice. And I've spoken to other people that have a price target of $800 to $1,000. So this is quite conservative. So essentially, Solana can still 5x quite conservatively from here, but not financial advice. Of course, at these points, you're probably just DCAing in. Price can go down, of course. Maybe it goes down to like $50. And you can just keep buying at that price as well, if you're keen. The Solana Foundation has joined the Tokenized Asset Coalition to help bring the next generation of real-world assets. So real-world assets, something that I'm very, very bullish on. It's not just things such as, I've covered it before, but like Pokemon cards that are now NFTs, or of course the simple one such as real-world assets in the form of divided up housing or houses that are then redeemable in some way on the blockchain. But to be honest, real-world assets are what's going to make the blockchain far more user-friendly and have that kind of inherent value because it has the actual non-speculative or not so speculative real-world asset price. The other thing that's very valuable, of course, are just digital currencies. So the euro, the USD, Australian dollar, all these tokens, the pound, these are currencies, and when they're tokenized, they become real-world assets. Now let's put me down in the corner and let's go over Jupiter. Jupiter, you should be in their Discord. Be very, very alert to scammers, of course. And anything that you have time for, do it. So as an example, this I wasn't really paying attention to, but they had this mock USDC that you could claim, and then you could swap for mock dupe. And you could do this with multiple wallets. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying you can. And they're doing one more test tomorrow, January 18. There's a post in Discord, but this is the form you have to fill out. So get amongst it. This time it's going to be one address, a little bit better. But I do know someone that did very, very well. They claimed a lot of this mock USDC, and then they swapped it for mock dupe early on. So in my wallet, I have some mock dupe. It's not worth anything per se. Like if we go to dupe, it is worth something, but there's a few things that you can do with it. And I'll quickly show you that now. There's no point in creating a new video on it, but mock dupe. So I have very, very small amount, but $1.50 thereabouts worth of mock dupe. And I started with 100,000 mock USDC, and then you could do a swap. However, if we have a look at mock dupe here, we'll just go to Bird Eye and we can check out mock dupe. The volume on this was absolutely insane. And those people that went and did a swap early on, and this isn't even accurate. Like if someone got in, like say hair to hair, it's a double of their money. Not crazy, but you could actually get in a lot earlier. I had someone that had multiple wallets, about 15 or so, with USDC, mock USDC, swapped it all for mock dupe, and then that dupe became, or that fake dupe became worth $4,500, which was not in the intention of dupe, of course, but that's just the nature of being early and being aggressive with these sort of things. Now, the reason for that is because other pools opened up so you could swap SOL or USD for it. It had actual value, whereas initially it was just mock USDC to mock dupe. Also, from there, you could go to Meteor, which is kind of the other side of dupe, and you can go and provide liquidity. Now, I have no idea how this is doing. I'm just doing it just for the sake of a bit of fun. I'm out of the price range. I need to do some rebalancing over here and claim some fees and whatnot, but you can go and put in here. I'm not saying that this is going to give you an airdrop or anything like this, but just getting in early to these sort of things and learning it with a mock fake token that's worth $2 that you got for free could be worth it. So we'll see what this test does here. And so just remember to go ahead, grab your wallet. I'm going to add my DGen wallet, I think, to this because, well, it's DGen. Well, actually, maybe my tutorial wallet, sorry. Remember to have different addresses for different things. Plonk it in there and just add in your Discord username. And good luck for tomorrow. Now, more information on Dupe. So Harp, who's the co-host of Lightspeed podcast, here's a TLDR of what's coming. And January is definitely Dupe-January. And it's going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing this year, next year, and so on, because it just has so much mindshare and so much attention. So token and airdrop details below. There's 10 billion total Dupe. 50% will be managed by the team, 50% distributed to the community. Airdrop is Jan 31st. I imagine you'll have to claim it, of course. This will be the first of 4 rounds of airdrops, and each airdrop will be 10% of the total Dupe supply. And Dupe is launching a DLMM pool for launch. So I'll go over this beforehand. Now, a DLMM pool is a dynamic liquidity market maker. So I'm going to see if I can reach out to my friend at Dupe, see if he can kind of give it to me in simple terms or slightly simple terms, so I can then give it to you in very simple terms. But Ben has already done this video, so you can watch this. Maybe this helps you get everything understood, and if not, I'll make another video myself. So they're going to launch this DLMM pool, and then the airdrop in Jupiter provided liquidity will result in 15 to 20% initial security, and then this airdrop and Jupiter provided liquidity will result in 15 to 20% initial circulating supply, and Jupiter's RPC should be a little bit more resistant or resilient with Helios and Triton, but I'm just going to be honest, they will have issues. They will 100% have issues. So I will have, just before Dupe happens, I'll have a plan and how to kind of navigate this sort of stuff, because I think it's going to be messy, because there's going to be a lot of people that would just want to sell it. And then pool activity and claims will be a huge network test for Solana. Of course it will be, and there will be a lot of people that won't do this, but you should be using priority gas. Even if you're spending $1 or $2 in transaction fees, just put it in order to claim it, because look, the same transaction fee, if you're going to push a fast transaction on Ethereum, is going to cost you $50. So if you're spending $1 here on Solana for a hyped event, it's worth it in my opinion. Value accrual details. So Dupe is the symbol for Jupiter and DeFi 2.0. There's no revenue until Jupiter has a 10x their user base. And Meow thinks this will be up to 2 years. Dupe will be used to coordinate new listings, vote on Launchpad, etc. And Jupiter's swap aggregation will always be free, similar to how Google search is free. So every time you go to dupe.ag, there'll be no fees. Now, you do have Phantom Wallet, which also uses dupe.ag, but if you do a swap between different tokens, sometimes there is an actual swap fee, which is enforced by, but sometimes there is an actual swap fee, which is enforced by Phantom, and it's how they get their revenue. Now, they're a great product, and I think great products should have a system for making money. This includes a 0.85% fee. So typically, if I'm doing a small swap, I'll just do it in Phantom. If it was quite large, like thousands of dollars, I would generally save on the fee and just go straight to dupe.ag. Now, Jupiter currently charges fees on DCA, perps, and limit orders, and Meow predicts the highest revenue products will be perps and the Launchpad. The Launchpad, however this is, if it's done well, it will have insane hype. So yeah, we'll go over this a little bit later, but if you have a lot of Dupe, I wouldn't be selling it all, not financial advice, but if we have some Dupe in order to gain access to that Launchpad, then that Launchpad will definitely lift up this ecosystem. Next, we have Metaplex have released the Inscription program, and they'll follow it up with the Engraver. I know nothing about inscriptions. I know that the data's on the blockchain, it's immutable, it's there forever. I know Bitcoin inscriptions blew up. I do not have a single one. I've been asked to make tutorials. I don't really see a crazy value on these. I know Bitcoin inscriptions have some value. Nevertheless, if you're into this sort of thing, here's a good thread from Kimosabe. But personally, I haven't had the time to work it out, and I don't really love it. Here's a cool app. Espresso Cash is now available in the US, Europe, and Nigeria. So you can freely send money between the USA, Europe, and Nigeria with the best conversion rates and cash out to dollars, euros, or NIDA. Now, I have no idea how expensive their fees are, but this is very good, especially for me in Europe. And I know of quite a few people in Nigeria that have to go through some kind of convoluted system of USDC or USDT. I think they use Tether, and then they go and do it locally and it's done into cash. So this could potentially help Nigeria really get onboarded. And Nigeria is an interesting country because, you know, they speak English natively, but things when it comes to like technology are very expensive. Like the computers are insanely expensive for what they are. They have a lot of computers that are like 5-6 years old that they sell for what I would class as new, current PC rates. And their internet can be quite finicky at times. But as they get onboarded more and more, they're a hustle culture. I think Nigeria is a very important country to look after with fiat on and off ramps. Next, we've got Kamino Finance. They've added new Vault, Chonky, and Sol. Now remember, meme coins can have crazy and permanent loss. So don't put your entire bag in here unless that's what you want to do. I did it with Bonk and Sol many, many moons ago, and it was devastating. So I like Chonky. I think Chonky has a lot of value. Not financial advice, of course, but I may put a little bit in here just because this is how you get more people into your ecosystem by having deeper liquidity. MarginFi now has flash loans available. This is more for MEV opportunities, so maximum extractable value. And that's where like you can just basically take out a loan, and as long as it's repaid in the same block, the transaction will go through, and you borrow some money, buy some token, do an arbitrage, send it back to the same token, and then repay the loan or something like that. I think it's good for the ecosystem, but for the average user, it's not going to matter at all. It's never going to affect me. As far as I'm aware, I'm never going to use this. There's a new dApp out in town called Stockpile, and they have a grant system. So Stockpile is similar to Gitcoin, and I've covered something else called Cubic before. However, I haven't heard from Cubic in a while, and Stockpile's come out. Now, this is very much in the kind of early stages. So this is what's definitely needed. Like Gitcoin on Ethereum, I can show it to you in a second, but it's insane. Like the amount of money that goes through there just for fundraising is crazy. Like there's so much more liquidity in Ethereum. But they do have fundraisers here, and at the moment they have a grants system. So there's 5K available. Voting will start soon, and this is sponsored by Dean's List, I believe. So there's a new governance and DAO-focused grant pool of 5K that aims to support DAO builders in the Solana ecosystem. So we'll see how all of this goes. And next up, we have the Solana Mobile. This is available for pre-order. It's 450 USDC. It will ship sometime mid-2025 is the expectation. I have a referral link, so use that referral link if you're going to be buying one of these. And I've already got one. I've got one, just the one, and I think this will be valuable. I've done a video on this. You can watch that for more information. And finally, if you're playing Play the Heist, there are some land auctions happening. However, it's a pretty sizable amount, 8,000 Coco, or the other one is on about 10 million. So probably not going to work out unless you're a big holder. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next video.